All right, let's see if I can figure this out.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Marni, and I have Andrew Ittleman on the phone with me today. And he's trying to work on his mic right now. And so this is a little bit weird. There might be an echo. Oh, I'm going to mute you. Or can you mute me on the computer? Yeah, mute. So click on me down below and mute me on your side. And then we won't have that feedback. Okay, perfect. But that's better, but now we can't hear you.
I'm just going to hold the receiver up to my ear like this.
Okay, perfect. We can hear you now. So that's perfect. All right, wonderful. Okay, good. All right, guys, so the technical challenges, these are wonderful things. But anyways, hi, I'm Melrose, Marni, and today I have Andrew Ittleman of First Ittleman, David, and Joseph. And he asked me to speak at the Bitcoin Annual International Money Transfer Conference in San Diego, down here in San Diego, June 24th and 26th. So I decided to do a little bit of research on the topic beforehand. And I was doing my research and I was thinking, why don't I just have him on the show? So I kind of like blindsided him and had him jump onto the show because I just think it's going to be a lot more exciting. So Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself real quick?
That sounds good. And listen, I need you to tell me if you can't hear me because I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties over here, so please let me know if I'm not coming through the way that I should. But anyway, my name's Andrew Ittleman. I'm an attorney in Miami. I have been working in the Bitcoin space going back to 2011. I've been working with different payments companies going back to 2005. And that includes digital currency and a number of other new internet-based products. Marni, you and I met at the Texas Bitcoin conference that was hosted by Paul Snow. I spoke on a couple of different panels there dealing with some issues relating to Mt. Gox and then some regulatory issues. And I've been a member of the National Money Transmitters Association going back a number of years. And I was asked by the host of the Money Transfer Conference coming up in San Diego to host a Bitcoin workshop at the end of June. And that's what I've invited you and the other members of the Digital Currency Institute to. It was good to have gotten the opportunity to meet you at the Texas conference. So when I was Googling San Diego Bitcoin and I was looking for speakers and I saw your name pop up, I knew that I could rely on you, and I'm looking forward to having you there.
Absolutely, and I'm so happy that you did, and I'm really excited. So tell us, what was your very first experience in Bitcoin, and why did you decide to kind of jump into this world? What engaged you? I always like to get that from my guests right away.
Okay, well, my first, I'll answer the question a little bit more generally than that. Perfect. My first experience with digital currency was with some work that I had for eGold Limited.
Are you there?
Processor that was ultimately indicted, and I had the opportunity to do some work in their criminal defense in Washington, D.C. That case lasted until about 2008. I wasn't really paying attention to Bitcoin, but I was contacted by my first client in 2011. I did some work for him, a flow of different clients and different people asking me questions about Bitcoin. I was using by which I understood Bitcoin, and it was about, I think, 2000 and actually it was earlier this year when I realized how wrong I was in that assumption. That it wasn't just an issue of the lack of a central issuer that makes Bitcoin so different from a virtual currency that's issued by a central issuer. It's the whole concept of the platform, and some variations on the platform that we're seeing now that really put Bitcoin with a capital B and a lowercase b so beyond anything that I had previously seen. And I'm learning as much as I think I'm under the regulatory ramifications of something I see. Every client that I meet with, every article that I read, everybody seems to be tinkering with this system and just doing mind-blowing things. And it's great to be asked to help some of these people sometimes. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. And really after kind of doing a little research, so I did some research this morning, and I really think that if you want to understand if Bitcoin has value, that remittances is really a good place to start, because the frictionless movement of money globally will transform our world faster than anything. Don't you agree?
I do. And I'm to difference in San Diego. The conference is the International Money Transmitters Conference, and there's 3 of them every year. There's been in Los Angeles, and now it's going to be in San Diego for the first time, and then there's one every year in Latin America, and Hugo, who hosts it, has done them in Mexico and Brazil so far, and we may be looking at some other opportunities in Argentina coming up. But yeah, it's completely revolutionary in the sense that to perform remittances between the United States and other countries, or wherever the remittances might occur, there's no middleman, there's no fee. Explore is a role, and if so, what type of role there is, both for traditional money transmitter companies, which are already licensed and operating in the United States, dealing with more traditional forms of remittances, and some of the newer big, primarily internationally. So we're going to be exploring all of those different options that are arising for people who want to be performing remittances using Bitcoin as the medium of exchange.
Absolutely. I was looking earlier, and the older technology of electronic payments they can't compete with Bitcoin. And I was reading last year, and maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, but NACHA, which is the Electronic Payments Association, they proposed an expedited processing and settlement plan. However, a handful of the large banks stopped that from happening, and really the banks kind of have, I think, a little bit too much power. That's my opinion. And they say that more fraud would be put into the system if they sped it up, and that's why they say they didn't want to do it. And it was funny because the article I was reading, they were thinking that an ACH competitor is this newer technology like PayPal, and I'm like, PayPal, a newer technology? I'm like, oh my God. This is a prime opportunity for the education on Bitcoin and, a freer market of money transfer. Right.
I don't know down the road what role some of them traditionally to play. I have no idea. I think it'll be interesting to see that play out. But I think that for the immediate people who traditionally perform remittances are going to be using Bitcoin to perform those remittances. whether to send or receive, they're going to need some level of assistance, either with acquiring the Bitcoin, using the technology. Not everybody is as comfortable using their cell phones and using their computers as some other people to handle their finances and their remittances. And I think there's going to be a place for third-party companies just in that sense. Some place that I can go and say, I need to perform this remittance, I want to use Bitcoin, and they can help me with that.
Perfect. Well, the CEO of Western Union, the CEO of Western Union, I'm not sure if I'm going to say his name, Hikmet Ersek, he didn't consider Bitcoin a threat because exactly that. He perceived that Bitcoin hadn't addressed the practicalities on the receive side. Right. But with like, for instance, BTCX India and buybitcoin.ph, that spread is closing, right? And that's really exciting. Like BTC India just launched May 5th, in India, in Hyderabad. And right. So now, we can send money from the United States from a Bitcoin account, and then they can exchange it locally there at BTC India.
That's
and
right.
The same with buybitcoin.ph. That's a exchange down in the Philippines. And, I used to have a Filipino assistant, and she was always so aggravated by the fact that PayPal was taking 3% of her money, and I only had a fixed budget. Being a small business person myself, I had a fixed budget, and I didn't have any extra that I could give to her, and I felt bad that she had to take less just to move the money around the world. And so, that's another reason that I'm so excited that everybody's kind of jumping into this game and really, making it a lot better. And I'm grateful for people like yourself who can kind of have that advisory role with regards to legalities and compliance and all of that.
Thank you. Again, I'm excited to have that opportunity. I don't profess to be, a know-it-all or anything like that. I'm kind of pretty much like everybody else in this space. I'm figuring it out as I go.
That's all of us, my friend.
and deal with technology that is just so far beyond what these regulations were designed to deal with. And really the best I can do sometimes is hammer the round peg into the square hole and hope that it sticks. Yeah. That's really what we're dealing with on the regulatory side.
Absolutely. And
go ahead.
I understand that there, and this is where it was, sometimes I talk to some of the, like hardcore libertarians, right? And they get really angry with me for talking with, some of the compliance guys and stuff like that. And I'm like, but hey, if you really want Bitcoin to go more mainstream, you have to allow it to grow, and it is going to change a little bit in that, we have to come to some sort of happy medium, right? And I'm so grateful that you can kind of be, and it's a hard place to be, a middleman in the middle of that, right?
I hope so.
Of being stuck there in the middle trying to, okay, talk this language and talk that language at the same time. And so I feel for you guys. It's got to be a hard job.
It's not easy. It's a fun opportunity to deal with lots of different futuristic technologies, and it's always the issue of applying these old, poorly written, awkward regulations and statutes to this new technology. And it brings me back to a Supreme Court case that was written in right around 1930, when a man was being prosecuted because he was illegally flying an airplane, and the federal government was using a statute that was designed to regulate motor vehicle. Supreme Court was whether the government could use this quote-unquote motor vehicle statute to prosecute somebody who was flying an airplane. And the government was saying, well, it moves and it's got a motor. And down saying, you got to do a lot better than that.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
We're using money transmission statutes that were not designed for this sort of technology. We're going to have to use them until somebody comes up with something better. Hopefully the state of New York and Benjamin Lawsky will be able to write reasonable regulations that are designed to deal with this sort of technology. But man, oh man, how do you regulate something like Ethereum? How do you do it? I have no idea. But again, for the type of work that I do, this is the most fun that you can have with your clothes on. Just trying to figure out all these different things.
I feel the same way. It's like this is the most fun I've had and the most engaging, intelligent conversations I have had in years in this Bitcoin world. Not only am I learning more about, global finance and personal finance even, and just really how, you get into really understanding the movement of money on a global scale. It's fascinating to me. And obviously I must be a geek for that, but hey, that's okay. We're all different, right?
Exactly. Well, I like the conversations that I have with the geeks at all these different conferences that I've been able to go to. Because you can go to any conference and you can speak with the libertarians, you can talk with the Wall Street folks, you can speak with the people who are developing the different types of remittance platforms, you can talk with the Ethereum people on with Bitcoin. Everybody's tinkering with the protocol, and everybody's just so enthusiastic about it. And we're putting as much thought and energy into this as people were putting into the internet in the early 1990s. I think what we're going to see 5 or 10 years from now is going to blow us all away. And
Absolutely. I mean, really for the economic empowerment, the economic empowerment of people fundamentally around the world, that with the fact of, the decentralization not having to, it's like, Bitcoin can't discriminate against you because of any reason whatsoever. It's just completely neutral. If you want a Bitcoin account, you get to have a Bitcoin account. If you want to move money, you get to move money.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So I think we're on to some exciting stuff again. So I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Just absolutely thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the board. We look forward to that. Do you want to give us the details of that conference again?
Sure. Again, it's the conference is going to be in San Diego. It runs from June 24th to June 26th. The workshop itself that I will be hosting is going to be on the afternoon of June the 25th. We are going to be focusing entirely on Bitcoin as a 21st century remittances platform. The conference is it's going to be at the Paradise Point Hotel on Vacation Road in San Diego. I'm hoping that it's going to be a beautiful few days. There's going to be a lot of people to meet and networking to do. I'm looking forward to seeing the Bitcoin folks, hopefully networking with the licensed money transmitters. I'm hoping that maybe some partnerships will be forged. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and it'll speak and hopefully become regulars at the conference. I think you'll really like it.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've ever been to the Paradise Point Resort, but it's a beautiful resort right down there in Mission Bay in San Diego. And I was just there at the Conscious Capitalism conference, just, was it last month or the month before? Time flies. But anyways, it's a beautiful, beautiful resort. And right now we have, bring like really light clothes because it's sickeningly hot here right now.
Yeah.
It's like 94. We've had 9 forest fires. That's, my eyes are all puffed up today. 9 forest fires in like 9 hours yesterday broke out. It's just crazy right now. So make sure you've got lots of light gear that you bring with your lightest suits. It's
Yeah.
gonna be hot.
Well, I live in Miami, so that's pretty much all I have anyway.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Okay, fabulous. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It was fabulous and lots of fun, and I look forward to seeing you guys there.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Bye-bye.